Welcome back to the Ferris Sports Update, joined now by Ferris State head coach of women's basketball, Kurt Westendorp. Coach, nice win the other day and making a lot of shots right now.
Yeah, we're doing a nice job of moving the basketball. So I think we got a lot of kids that are gym rats. So they've been in that gym all summer, all fall. And they're kind of seeing that hard work pay off with now finally getting to this team setting where they're sharing the ball really well. And we're getting a lot of high quality looks because of it. But a lot of it just goes to the hard work these kids have put in that off season and then again this fall. I think it's nice for the outside to see the shots going in, but we've been seeing them go in for the last couple months, and we just hope that we can sustain it throughout the season.
And you're doing it with a lot of young pieces. You've got some good experience in Mallory McCartney, Chloe Idoni, some kids coming off the bench that maybe weren't in as big a role last year as they are now, but it just seems like everything right now at least is clicking in the right direction.
Everything looks really nice when you're 5-0 to get started and you're seeing the ball go in, but we're still growing as a team. We've kind of had to hit the reset button a couple different times this fall with a few injuries that the team has kind of sustained, but I feel really good about what we've built as far as our depth goes. Coming into this year, having 6 new pieces on the roster, 2 transfers and 4 freshmen, kind of getting them into the mix, because like you said, with Chloe and Mallory, they're kind of the cornerstones of our program. They're 2 of our 3 captains along with Caden Blanchard. But they've just kind of set that tone and built that environment where these new kids have been able to come in and play with confidence. There's been a lot of learning, a lot of growing. You don't learn without failing in practice, and we failed plenty in practice. But I feel like we've grown enough that we're kind of hitting our stride right now a little bit and finding that team that we're going to become.
So you get ready to take a look at the highlights this past weekend. Of course, you get to 104 points. That's nice. You get to 50 plus in the first half. You've already been at 97, so we're talking about a team that can absolutely shoot the lights out right now.
We're trying to play with a little bit of pace. Against UIS last Saturday, they're a team that could really score the basketball. So us getting up to 97 in that game, we did a great job of getting the ball inside to Chloe. And it's nice to have her on that inside because it really does open things up for our guards. Because teams that are just going to let Chloe go to work, we're going to let Chloe go to work. And she's proven already. She had a 30-point game in the opener. And then teams that are going to do a better job guarding on the inside, we've been spacing the floor really well, kind of playing with tempo. And like you can see in most of these highlights, the ball is moving. There's not a lot of bad shots that you're seeing. If you're seeing 5-7 feet of separation and some of these 10-15 feet of separation, between the closest defender and our kids shooting the ball, you're going to shoot a higher percentage. You should make those. So now as we move into GLIAC play, that goal and that challenge is to be moving the ball just as well, to be working with each other just as well, to create, you might not be 5, 7, 10 feet open, you might only be 2, 3 feet open, and hopefully once we get into those settings, we keep that same rhythm and that same confidence and keep knocking it down.
Before we talk about the freshmen, you've got a couple of kids that were in the rotation last year, but we're kind of at the bottom of the rotation, and now they're really starting to show some great maturity as well. That's huge to have year-over-year development from kids that are returning.
Oh, definitely. I mean, Deshauna Day and Grace Sullivan have done a great job of kind of growing into some new roles for us this year. Deshauna's been in the starting lineup for us, whereas Grace is still coming off the bench as kind of that first sub off for us and kind of giving us 2 point guards out on the court when she plays at the same time as Mal. She's a little bit different player than Mallory. She does a nice job. You can see in these right here. Real quick change of pace. She gets to the basket really well. She's shooting the ball from 3 way better than she did last year, throughout practice. It's only been a few games in. I think she's 6 for 10 from 3. But we were seeing that improvement already in our practice stats. So seeing it in the game has been, everything. We've been seeing that in practice already. And then Deshauna's just got that upperclassman mindset now where she's coming in and playing with a great pace. I think she knows her role. She knows what's expected. And she's been kind of developing that role of our lockdown defender. We're really missing Adrienne Anderson because she was one of the best defenders this league has probably ever seen on the perimeter. So we're not asking, Deshauna to be exactly what, Adrienne was, but she's stepping into that role and making things harder for teams and kind of being a great 2-way player for us.
Right away, your freshmen have come in and made a huge scoring impact. I mean, they're drilling threes like it's nothing. And it's hard to come in at the college level and be a freshman and have that kind of a huge impact immediately. What does that maybe say about the character of the kids that you brought in this season?
Well, I think it's 2 different things. So first, both of the freshmen that are playing heavier minutes, Elle Irwin played for Rockford High School. They made the Final Four. They're one of the best high school programs in West Michigan and the entire state. They do a great job of developing their players. And then Mia Riley, she's back-to-back state champion. So she's won 4 games at the Breslin Center. She's used to winning. She's used to the bright lights. She's not really scared. So both those kids have the confidence, and I think that our leadership in our team and just the chemistry of our team has kind of created a space for them where they feel like they can be themselves. You know, they can go play their game. They don't have to just sit back and walk on eggshells and defer to the older players. You know, we want them to play their game. You know, I think that our captains have done a great job of just creating that atmosphere where they're stepping in and not worried about making mistakes. Believe me, they're still making plenty of mistakes, but they're learning from them. They're playing through them. They're trying not to make that same mistake again. You know, and we have a few more people further down our roster that are now getting a little bit healthier and hopefully can learn and get a few more game action minutes like they were able to against Grace. You know, right here you're seeing some of those players that haven't seen as many minutes in our first few games. You know, getting Jolie out there, getting Emma right there, you know, sharing the ball. These are players that are developing during practice and kind of hopefully, like you said, they're growing within our program. So when their number does get called, they're ready to step in and have that confidence.
Big win for you guys, and now you turn your attention to conference play and you open it up with #1 team in the country and a rival from just down the road. How exciting is that just to have that measuring stick? You've seen, all right, my team can do this against these kinds of teams. What can my team do now against what's considered right now the best?
Well, it's nice that you don't have to wait very long. The anticipation, you don't have to wait all that long to get to play the #1 team in the country. In Grand Valley, last time we saw them, you know, we were on the same court with them, and I think they remember that game too because we beat them in the tournament championship. And our kids, I think they have that belief that we have what it takes to play with a team that's deserving of a #1 ranking. So being a rivalry game right off the bat, you know, it's GLIAC play always, you have to ratchet up your level of play. You know, I think the first 4 opponents we play, you know, have a combined record of 19-6. So it's not just Grand Valley that's sitting at 5-0 like we are, but then Davenport's off to their best start in a long time. You know, and Tech and Northern are both also off to great starts. So we know that we have to raise our level of play. That's the way it always is going into GLIAC play. It just happens that it has to be GV right from the get-go. And I think our girls, they're ready for that challenge. You know, that's one thing I can say about our kids is they don't back down to anything. I think mentally they're a very tough group. They're ready to go. You know, but it's going to take a lot better basketball than we've played in these first 5 games. You know, we have to tighten a lot of things up and come out. And, you know, in a rivalry game, anything can happen. And I think it's going to be one heck of a ball game.
It opens up what should be a huge week in Bulldog athletics, and congratulations on the 5-0 start, and good luck this week in GLIAC play.
Thank you. Looking forward to it.
That'll wrap it up for the Ferris Sports Update. Until next time, I'm Harrison Watt. You can check us out at ferrisstatebulldogs.com for all things Ferris State Bulldog athletics. We'll talk to you next week on the Ferris Sports Update.